It is time to talk about Boeing. The U.S. Department of Justice has launched a criminal investigation into the January blowout on an Alaska Airlines Boeing plane. And just days ago, another Boeing aircraft, this time flying to New Zealand, reported technical issues that caused it to drop in the air mid-flight. The company is also currently being investigated by both the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB. So what is going on with this manufacturer? Joining us live from Ocala, Florida, on why Boeing may be having so many issues is Keith Mackey, aviation analyst. Good morning.
Good morning.
So we don't know yet if this most recent incident between Australia and New Zealand, where the plane suddenly dropped, was Boeing's fault. But the Federal Aviation Administration will release its report on Boeing's safety practices next month. What are you expecting that they're going to find is causing so many issues?
Well, in the first place, the Boeing flight from Sydney to Auckland bears the signature of a clear air turbulence encounter more than a problem with Boeing. We'll see what the facts come out to indicate, but I would say that this may not be a Boeing problem at all. However, Boeing is turning out to be a national embarrassment. They just had the recent 13-week audit by the FAA. They audited 89 processes in the manufacturing of the aircraft, the MAX particularly, and I think they found 56 compliances and 33 non-compliance ones. They then audited Spirit, who manufactures the fuselage and is actually a spinoff of Boeing. Spirit, out of 13 audits, failed 7 and passed 6. So this is a clear indication there's some issues. And then, as you mentioned, the DOJ is filing a criminal investigation into the manufacturing process because of the blowout back in January of the 737 cabin door plug.
Those numbers are very scary. The Department of Justice is investigating the Alaska Airlines blowout that happened back in January. What kind of consequences could Boeing face from all these investigations?
Well, let me explain a little bit about how the process works. When Boeing's going to produce something, they come up with a set of procedures as to how they're going to do it. And they show those to the FAA and say, this is how we intend to do it. And the FAA will bless it by saying, yes, we accept those procedures that you've outlined. And then when the FAA audits what's actually going on, if they're actually doing something else rather than what the FAA accepted, that's a violation because they're not doing the approved procedure. So that apparently is happening quite frequently in the manufacturing process, particularly in Everett, Washington.
Yesterday, we reported on the death of a former Boeing employee who was a whistleblower testifying about Boeing's safety standards. What do you make of that part of the story? That's
scary. The Boeing wants to spin it off as a suicide, but apparently there is more investigation going on as to whether it was a suicide or not. He was found shot to death in his car in the parking lot. He had apparently been deposed by counsel the previous day and was due to be crossed by his own counsel that day. So it's unusual that someone would elect to shoot themselves when they were just having the opportunity of expressing their thoughts.
And, you know, Boeing's in the headlines, but is this just a Boeing issue, or is it likely that other aircraft manufacturers are having similar problems that just haven't risen to the surface yet?
Well, I think for the moment we have to say that it's a Boeing problem. We have to wonder why this is going on. Obviously, something is missing in management. We're not dealing with engineers in management. We're dealing with bottom line people. And people on the lines are being rushed. Inspection procedures apparently aren't being carried out properly. So there's a lot of concern. You have to remember now that the Boeing production during the shutdown and in the COVID era really diminished, and a lot of experienced Boeing people were laid off. Not all these people have returned, and there are many new people working for Boeing that really don't have the experience that the older people do. So until they're up to speed with the experience and the understanding how important it is to do these things exactly as prescribed, I think we have a problem, and that's going to take a bit of time to correct.
Keith Mackey, thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.